Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Let's start. I'm going to play some musica over here. Oh, Safi's on the table. Safi's on the table. Right, Safi? Shall we play some music? Let me play some music and wait for us to get around, and then we're going to start. Right, Saf? If I can see anything from her. Safi girl, where's Safi girl? Saturday. Yeah, it is your day. Do you love everybody? How much? How much? Huh? You want to say something for the radio? Somebody who got a gypsy, possibly misfortune card, who had fire, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How was your week, guys? Let me see. Good morning, Barbie, Master Moderator Kylie, Sally. Hey, Steve is here, Chris is here. Oh my gosh, the crowd is here. Good morning, everybody. Suhair, are you the first time here? I think I saw your name before. Tiffany Love. Hey, guys. Ladybug. You guys have such a fantastic name. Kelsey. Marian Noggs, good to see you over here. Thank you very much for your lovely messages. Tiffany Love. Miss Wizard. Hey, Miss Wizard Tarot. Hello, hello, hello. How's your week, guys? I was working on my monthlies, and then I started to get emails. Not one, but three. And kind of like, oh, you're not paying attention to this, you're not paying attention to that. Apparently, somebody was writing to Cat Tarot. And just so it happens that somebody stole my brand name, and the woman published the deck under Cat Tarot, which basically is awful. It would never pass my litmus test. And basically, I sent her a note and I asked her, like, what makes you think you can actually really operate under my name, under my brand, under my trademark? So she ignored it. So it's getting to the point that I had to go to the lawyers, and it's going to get really ugly. Lots of people will have to get involved. It's international lawsuit. It's really something I did not want to be in, but if somebody is so belligerent, I really think they deserve a lesson. So that is what's going to be happening. And I just can't believe this. You know, it's very easy to Google, you know, if you are creating anything. And she's an artist. They would really know that stealing is never good, but for artists especially, because people just take your stuff left and right. So hard for me to understand. But anyway, I was not in a frame of mind to do monthly since, and I'm also trying to moderate how many of these little kind of like snippets I have, that I don't irritate you guys, but I have to have them in order to beat YouTube rhythm. It's kind of like sad that tarot channels that are not even good Hey, Safi. Safi is studying something on the screen. She's seeing this. She's seeing herself. Oh my gosh, she wants to touch herself. She's seeing something is moving. Yeah, and these channels were getting better because they somehow tapped into this YouTube code, which is like make it short and make it, you know, superficial. And that's kind of how it works. Let's see if Safi is going to tap herself right now. Safi, who is that? Safi's watching Safi. Safi's watching Safi. Safi's watching. Yeah, exactly. This is freaking circus. And you know what? Like, I mean, I notified Amazon and hopefully that might kill it. It's just like, I think if you want to screw with someone, at least face the freaking music. I mean, a letter of apology immediately would kind of like do something. Of course, I would not take any kind of concessions because the deck is horrible. I mean, as you can see, I use pretty much the same decks all the time, even though I have lots of them. I think at this stage over 200 decks, and most of them are at my dad's place because I get so like excited when I see them, and then they arrive and they don't have this energy, or some of them that do have energy, they just flatly refuse me because I do my little ritual. And I'm always happy to see animal decks, especially cat decks. But these people, they think, oh, I can draw and I can do the tarot deck. This is just like saying, oh, I can draw, I can be a psychiatrist. And it's basically being ridiculous about it. So anyway, enough of my whining. No, it's not enough. Let me whine a little bit more. I was going with Tiger yesterday to a dog park. I don't know if you guys, where you are, if you have dog parks. It's really silly. They kind of like fence in a very small space where you can actually let your dog off the leash. Tiger is a dog with special needs because he's a border collie, so he likes to herd everything that moves, specifically sheeps and young children, right? So he's at this stage 40 pounds. If he jumps on a young child, he can really hurt them. So this woman walked with a toddler, like I'm in 7:30, I'm at a dog park, and like there is like a park for the children. There is a dog park fenced in just for dog owners. Now she's there and telling me that I have to put my dog on the leash. Oh my god, like I mean, how is it possible that people have their own children and they are such, and sorry, you don't hear me often using bad words, but idiots. Like that woman is an idiot and she actually has a child. That's very, very scary to me. So I'm off my soapbox, right? And let's start. I really need to get it out somewhere because it happens to everybody. Bella, oh my gosh, I have a friend whose lab is called Bella, and this is like one of Tiger's friends. He kind of like likes her, but he likes puppies more because Bella is 10 years old. So yeah, Tiger is a collie, and you should see. I mean, I have a video of him, and I don't know if I can pull it out on my phone. And I thought, you know, that I was recording longer video, but apparently Mercury retrograde is over. I have nothing to blame, but I pressed photo instead of video, so I actually only got a short snippet. So here I'm going to show you this. Here, we're going to see it, hopefully. See, that's what he wants to do. That's basically what is kind of like, that's what is kind of built inside.
Good boy.
See how good he is?
Good boy. Sit, sit, sit. Sit.
Yeah, so that's basically how good he is, but, you know, that doesn't help, you know, if you have idiots, right? Yeah, Safi is super cute watching herself. Yay. That's what's happening. So, Safi, can I see what's going on? Because she sits in front of kind of stuff. You know what? I mean, this woman said to me, I said to her, this is a dog park, right? And I'm just trying to not to start the day with freaking anger, right? And she goes, lady, get a grip. I said, well, I don't have to. This is not my child that's going to be torn apart, right? Again, she starts rolling her eyes. It is just like dumb and dumber inside of one. Hey! You guys are telling me to shut up. I know. Yes, Matrix. on. Come on. Hey, two of you. That's Fiesta. That's Fiesta. That's my husband, right? Stephanie, my sister, had a border collie, loves to run and herd. That's exactly it. And you know, I really didn't know much about dogs when I got him, and apparently, Husky, like Luna, is his girlfriend, and she's also a shithead, right? So it's really hard when two of them get together. They get in all kinds of trouble, right? So no, here dogs are not welcome, and people don't even understand dogs, like not educated. And I'm even surprised that Toronto parks are not doing better job, right? Like, I mean, this is the only spot, and it's like one per district. You really have to drive there. That is like kind of fenced in small area, and even that area they're not defining. They're saying it's dogs off leash, but it's for shared use. So hey, somebody comes with a toddler to play there, you're out of luck. The fun stops for Tiger. We gotta go. And like, I mean, come on. Like, I mean, this city with its suburbs has 6 million people. Do you know that Toronto is the third largest city in North America after, I believe, Mexico City and New York? And like, this is really ridiculous. So anyway, there you go. Husky named Luna. This is also like, I mean, yeah. So guys, what are we doing today? Virgos, 11:11. Time to start. Time to get off my soapbox. And let's do Zen a little bit. And what is like something new to share? It's a Labor Day, guys. So I guess Americans and Canadians, we are having long weekend. And after that long weekend, we have to get serious. So hopefully, you know, it's the last rays of sun. It's kind of like coldish over here, even though I have to say I really love this weather. So it's starting to be a little bit more active because the weather is not that bad. So hopefully, you know, things are going to fall in place. The tiger is going to learn how to run next to me. Right now he's running like this, and then he swirls himself around me like a freaking python, like with the leash. So hopefully we're going to coordinate eventually. Libra. So Kylie, do you have anything like in Australia this weekend? You guys kind of have different holidays, but you're still sort of like us, right, under the quote-unquote queen, which is really ridiculous. Like, I mean, my 2 cents that nobody cares. They're saying, well, you just came to Canada, you have no right to say. It's really weird that we are worshiping this like horrible, stupid, inbred family, right? So kiss allegiance to the queen. Like, for me to become a Canadian citizen, I actually had to swear that I'm going to die for the queen. I would not die for the queen. I'm just telling you right now, publicly. It is absolutely ridiculous. And apparently there is a movement in Canada by people who have been forced to do the same thing. And now they are like reneging. Okay, I did it now publicly. It's just like, seriously, for that inbred family, you want me to die? Like, these people pillaged over like centuries, and I have to die for that rich, useless people? Yeah. You have Father's Day in August? Wow, that's different. Well, happy Father's Day. It's always good to kind of like celebrate that kind of stuff. I don't know why we have separate Father's Day from Mother's Day. Maybe because we have such disconnected families, but it would be nice to have it together. Okay, so you have to take another British. Oh, really? I didn't know that it's in the other states. It is really. I was shocked. I understand that we had a test about how the parliament works. I really took it seriously. But when it came to that, like, I mean, my eyes just like got all open. I said, are you kidding me? So, all right. So, Barbie is running the show. You guys know that. So you have to kiss her butt for that. And I am just reading. So Barbie has a big influence. If I manage to catch what she's saying, because not always that I watch in the screen. So let me try over here. So let's go with Virgos, yeah? Virgos, do I have a list? Do I have a list? You know what? I have this notebook, which is quote-unquote perpetual notebook. Did you know that? You can write and you can erase on it, so which is really good. And I think I did write the order. Yeah, it's here. I did some homework. It is here. I did it. So we will start with Virgo. Even though Virgo, you are technically number 4, but oh, that's what I need to do for Barbie. I will help Barbie with this. There's my pen and write down. So let's start with Virgo. Let's put their little icon up over here so we know. Happy birthday to Virgo. Happy birthday to Virgos. Virgos, Virgos, please organize us. Virgos, Virgos, Virgos. So, okay, so that's going to be timestamps for Barbie. Timestamps. And eventually, this probably should turn it into text, Barbie, so you don't even have to type this stuff. So Virgo, let's see. I'm using these 2 decks because I like this combination over here. You're in Estonia. There is another reader from Estonia that I was like trying to help for a while, Joanne something. And for reasons that I don't want to share, I just stopped helping her. So let's do that. And I think she's a Virgo actually as well. So happy birthday to her. So. Still hot outside. Well, actually it's hot. It's 25 degrees over here. Which I don't know what it is. Like I would say 80s. Suffering in silence. Oh no, Virgos, why is that? It's like you're having a little kind of like, oh, well, I know what is this all about. Things are getting ready and you're feeling nervous and you're like wondering, what the heck will I do? Yeah, I can tell that this coming back to school and I need to go back and organize my life certainly is kind of like possibly creating this nervousness for such organized sign. This is 3 of Sky reversed. I don't know, Virgo. Are you going through something emotion? Oh, yes. I really think there's like something emotionally going on where you're trying to, I don't know, like, I mean, get a standing, try to find your sea legs over here. It's kind of like giving me this kind of like sense that, but this is a good card, even though it kind of like does look like a fight. I mean, let me just grab one more. This one wanted to come out. It's a fire. It's a kind of like fiery situation. This kind of like looks like a fight. But like to me, this card always talks about person who maybe feels that somebody is intruding, who maybe feels somebody's like walking all over you or on your territory, and this is not the way it should be, right? So this is like to me you putting your like slamming your fist on the table and saying no, not going to be this way, sort of like you are being the master organizer, right? You kind of like really are very pragmatic sign that kind of like does understand this, and thank God I have some Virgo in me, otherwise I would be just floating with so much air in my chart. But look at these 2 cards, 10 and 3, 13. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. And 13 is belonging to Scorpio, and if I add this 13 with 7 is 20, which is Pluto, which also belongs to Scorpio. So that Scorpionic influence means that there's like something really deep that is going on. Some of you, I believe, have been going through possibly some emotional damage, whether or not this was recent or not recent, right? Both of them kind of like have this feel of being unsettled, feeling weirded out, feeling, why is this happening, right? So 3 of Swords is like, look, all these kitties are going and flipping down anything that can flip down, meaning somebody's being reckless over here, and this is like really bothering you. This is really coming in a way. But it looks like for a while, or maybe for this weekend, maybe you're going to keep quote-unquote peace, and then you're going to go kind of like, no, I don't think so. Things really need to kind of like be worked out, and this is what's going to happen. And hence this transformation card comes through, and hence this 10 of fire comes through. Oh, by the way, this is 3 of sky and this is 7 of fire, or 3 of swords is 7 of wands. I guess I keep forgetting to tell you the cards, and not everybody knows my cat deck. Have you guys okay, let me mention something after this. So this is about transformation, and as this card says, it's not called death in this deck. And I absolutely love this card, right? Like, I mean, isn't this like, to me, Barbie, my impression of you, kind of like somebody who is like so beautiful and so intense, but also so loving. And look at this card. In this particular case, something really exploded. You know what they say, shit hits the fan kind of a thing. But this reversed. So this is really talking about, you did stand up. You're standing up for yourself. You're going to stand up for yourself. You really don't care about the consequences. Kind of like, damn the consequences. I know this is right. I know this has to be done. And hence this transformation card is talking over here, you needing to end something. Maybe certain things just went too far. Maybe you were allowing certain things to happen. Maybe you're keeping peace, but it's over. Maybe for you, your period of Virgo, it's like where you're drawing the line, and it's really, really good for you. That is really kind of like what I really like to see, that, right? So I actually want to clarify this Three of Sky, because it really talks about lots of pain that is being addressed, that kind of like is healed, that you are looking into, right? So Three of Swords, it's a good thing, but you still need to pull these swords. You know how in the traditional decks it shows that bleeding heart, that is really, really difficult, right, to do it, which kind of like, it's also anxiety about all of that. But this actually can talk about that recovery and clarity and introspection. So let's see what we get here. I'm getting a whole bunch of cards here. You are getting consolation, but it's reversed, and so is merchant. Well, these two cards to me are about money. Like, look at the angel shows up out of nowhere with money, and both of these cards have somebody looking at this sea or at the ocean, right? This guy was more or less kind of like busy with doing his own stuff. Where merchant, I really think he is either waiting for this boat to come and sail in so he can see if he did well. I think merchant would be equivalent of what we today call, I guess, entrepreneur, maybe import export. Consolation is somebody who is nobility, somebody who is maybe reading or writing his own book, right? And kind of like contemplating, maybe not necessarily even something related to the subject. And then the angel shows up, right? And angel is saying, look, I'm going to take things over for you. I actually love this combination because you guys are more pragmatic sign. You kind of like take this merchant role seriously. When you kind of plan something, you're being a planner. You like kind of like to load your ships, and you like to know that the results are there. So the projects you're maybe putting in place, and maybe here somebody's messing up with your concept and projects and everything. So this can be more like a general reading. This is really telling me that you're a person who paid it forward. So even though you were biting your tongue, if you wish, and you were suffering in silence, that has been noticed by your angels, by God, universe, whichever is your thing. This also tells me that maybe you had some kind of like the pains, a lack of love, and you're leaving them behind. Like now the page is really, really turning. This also could mean that you are either finding newfound angle with a person that maybe you had some, I guess, issues or discrepancies, or that there's like somebody completely new coming into your life, guys. I would say that all of this here tells me that you should look into your future with huge optimism. So be really open to accepting different opportunities and different changes. I really, really congratulate you on this, guys. Really good job. Like, I mean, some people would say, oh no, the reading is kind of like having these cards that are tricky, but you know, life is like that. Sorry, we are not babies over here on this line. So Leo's going to be next, but before I get there, what I'm going to say, did you guys check my website? Did you check that I did actually put, like, I mean, card reading over there? So if, you know, in doubt, you can just go there and just get a read. Like, I mean, the same cards, everything. And I also want to create, and the programmer is working on it as we speak, on specialty for only newsletter subscribers. So if you guys haven't, just subscribe this. Now, Leo and Cancer are on the same footing, absolutely on the same. So I'm just honoring Leo because you have been leading for a while, and that's why you're going first. But Leo, Cancer is giving you run for your money. So Leo, 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 you know, just keep clicking, and I think Leo is really doing their job. So that's going to really work really well. So let me put this and let's start. So let's see what's going to be for Leo this time around. Ooh, look at me, Sonia, I like your icons. Barbie is my queen of icons. Leon, she puts a tiger. Yes. Okay, Seth is claiming to be a Leo. Well, claim tiger to be a Leo. What can we find from Matrix? Is there such a thing as a black lion? Matrix. Come on. Leo, Leo, Leo. You know, guys, I do have to tell you, Steve, you brought a really good point. Steve said something, and Steve is a Leo, so that's why I'm picking, like, I mean, his question. And, like he said, I would recommend watching other signs that Cat does because some things can resonate in very weird ways. You guys, the group that comes on live, gives off really strong vibration, and actually any sign can apply on you because of this collective energy that we have. I don't focus just on Aquarius or Leo or Libra when I read for myself, because on this reading, really in everything we can find a morsel of truth. So that's a very good advice. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that. Leo, 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 Leo. Let's see what we have here. Ooh. We have financial and material changes, but then we have disruption. I love this card. It almost looks like these, what do you call it, the stuff that people are building in the rivers. Oh my god, I don't know the word for it. You know, like this little stone kind of like things, which is really weird for me, but people like to actually create a balance. And then we also have another 7, deception and envy. But look, check what is really interesting. So it is like 7 and 7, 14 and 5 for 19, which is your card. So Leo, this could be a little bit tumultuous week. I'm not going to really try to sugarcoat this for you. This card, the Tower card in the other deck, here is basically saying I am just going to feel all over disconnected, right? It almost looks like, and I don't know, like if you guys are getting that feeling that he is in some kind of lunatic suit or something, and also that he has chains over here. It really feels constrained, and I'm like holding this properly. And this Tower always talks about not really having your head straight on some kind of issue. So if you're being challenged, I would really advise you that you stop and think, because maybe somebody's challenging you for a reason. That could be one option, maybe because financial material changes. It doesn't really tell us much, other than there could be like different options, maybe 4 different options, you know, which can be good or bad. But this is also usually about positioning. It's also always about, okay, maybe somebody is encroaching on your territory. Maybe something that is happening in your life, whether it is work or career or family or love, it's will need to be redefined, guys. When this card shows up, it means that something is existing in your life that needs to be different. This card shows after that card that is called transformation. So death card, which many people are so scared because of the name, or transformation is like named in this deck, is basically the last call that we can change things ourselves. And say, hey, you know what, you need to leave this dude, or you need to put your foot down, things need to be better. And then people don't do it, and then they get to this stage and karma is saying, Okay, I'll make you do it. So something really happens, something that is disruption. In this disruption, you are going to find that somebody was full of it. I absolutely hate this card. And I never had such negative feeling toward this card until my latest breakup, which has been a while now, so it's maybe time for Kat to start dating. But my ex, who was like really deceptive, he kept getting, like, for in the reading, I kept getting this all the freaking time. So somebody might really show you their true colors, right? So it's kind of like really weird that he has this, and it's really the saddest part is that this actually card is connecting to Aquarian energy, because Aquarians can be very positive, but they can also be complete devastated liars, right? And so why is connecting to Aquarian energy? Because it's that high intellect, that somebody is concocting a story, somebody is creating, you know, deception, somebody knows the difference. You see, sometimes you have crazy people, you know, that, you know, come up with all kinds of stories, paranoia, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, etc. But this person does know the difference, and this is like kind of like what really matters over here. So it's going to be change, Sally, but it's also going to be disruption, right? Because you know, things happen. And tower moments generally, as Steve also mentioned, they actually do make you think life through and what you're doing. Look at that, you're getting death, but it's kind of like reversed. Whew. Okay, let me grab two more cards. This one wanted to come out. This is Earth Tom. Aw, isn't this cute? And this one, and this one is Nine of Fire. So you're getting also Scorpionic energy over here. I was just talking about this card, the death card, and it showed up. And it showed up reversed here. When it shows up reversed, it really talks about unnecessary suffering. There's like something that is going on that is maybe suggesting maybe you're doing certain things to yourself, guys. It could be something that's connecting to the sense of family, or to the sense of clearly children, or some kind of protection over here. It is maybe something that had to be transformed and put to an end. Things did not work out for one reason. This also could be just simply an aftermath of a tornado, your personal life tornado that is really happening, where you're like picking up the pieces and moving it forward. And that can be like actually really positive spin on it, right? Because Nine of Fire is generally talking about seasoned warrior. There is like this, let's reach this consensus. But obviously there is like disruption in how things are positioned, how things are seen. And it looks like, well, here they were looking this all kind of like in the same project. And I don't know if you can see it over here in the background. We have the tiger and the lion, like as a kind of like worship, kind of like gods. I really think that maybe it's going to feel like a collective betrayal in this particular case, Leo, for one reason or other. So let's see why you have the Tower over here. Creating a false narrative. Yeah, it would be somebody like, if I tell you right now, for example, that I am a model and that I'm being published in Vogue and that I'm being paid, like, I mean, $50,000 to get out of bed for daily work, I would know that I'm lying and this is not true, right? But the person who is doing this that I'm seeing in the cards, they know very well, and they still do it, and they do it with such conviction. So that could talk about narcissists over here. They can talk about people who are con men and deception over here, to be blunt, right? And like you picking up the pieces, Leo, over here, right? So it can talk about you kind of like looking at things differently because somebody who maybe negatively influence you. This also can talk about, and this is what people forget to say about this card, and that came to me in meditation, you claiming what is yours, right? Because deception and envy, they can claim where maybe it didn't happen, but if you didn't buy in their narrative, as Kylie said, and you call their crap, whoa, you know, narcissists will attack you, they will gaslight you, they will tell you that something is freaking wrong with you, like how could you do that, they're so innocent, they're so nice, kind of a thing, right? It's lots of that stuff happening, just like watching YouTube video comments. That's why I'm reading out, and that's why I have such amazing moderators, like, I mean, off you go, like, I mean, they're being taken out. Young woman. Whew. Is there a third party over here in the situation? Ooh, my God. Young woman, wife with a child, and love. Oh my goodness, guys. Is there somebody you're dealing with that, you know, there's like this love with a person with a child, and there's another one, choice between two people. This could be women, but it's a general reading, could be men and women. One could be much younger. Maybe somebody is completely clueless about something that is going on, right? There are like things going on over here. And love for two people. That is the most confusing part over here. Almost like sounds like the Bachelor series. Like, oh, they're in love because they actually travel on the mountain together and they spend 5 weeks together. Now declaring undying love and involving the whole family. But this can also talk about new love is being born somewhere, intense feelings of some kind, or you're like revisiting your feelings and kind of like figuring yourself out. Oh my gosh, Leo, this has so many different aspects over here. Like, I mean, I can talk and talk and talk. So for some of you, it will be three party situation. For the others of you, could be interference by somebody who is maybe flirting with your partner. For next of you, could be there's like somebody else in the background, possibly, you know, a woman with a child, but could be a divorcee. It could be also a married woman or a man actually over here, right? It could be like, I mean, that, you know, somebody wants to be recognized for declaring their love. This could be you, or this could be somebody else. I'm having like a really, really strong feeling for Scorpios and Sagittarians in this reading, and Aquarians in this reading. I really have to tell you, I guess just the arrow over here made me think about Sagittarians, but I do see Scorpio, actually Aries as well. So these energies that are really strong are coming through. So Leos, if you need me for counseling, you know where to find me, right? It's going to be sort out week for you, clearly sort out week, and take care of the people and things that actually mean to you something. That's kind of like what's going to be the flavor of the week. So the next one is Cancer. Where is my thing over here? Let's do Cancer over here. Back to a different program. Right, for my beautiful girl Barbie. So okay, so let's see what's happening over here. Cancers. Kylie, also sorry to hear that. So Sally, yeah, really interesting comment. It's clearly for you Leos need to sort things out. Let me just have a sip of my coffee. Hopefully you guys are having your coffee. Here it is, mine. Can't wait to go and get some. I'll eat today Polish food. I really feel like Polish food today. Okay, Cancers, you did very well. Unbelievable how much your sign pushed things forward. So hopefully it's, this one was like just glued to me, and it's a spiritual strength, This is a lovely card. You're holding the world on your shoulders, and it's almost like this big circle. Can you see this big circle around? And also this third eye. There is like some kind of culmination. You're sort of like coming in the zone. You kind of you get it, and there is like a rainbow over here. And I love this card because we have two hands and we have two trees. Like in Osho Zen, we have like these two trees for this like for Two of Cups. Here is like Ace of Cups that is really talking about that. It's kind of like, let's make it flow. And there is like the beginning. This is exactly where it starts. It's something clear, and there is like a shift, and this one really wants to come out over here. Do not, guys, be your own enemy. It is really important that you allow certain things to happen. I don't know, guys, Cancers, are you... And I don't know why this came to me. I'm just throwing this out over there. Any Cancer over here that I can ask them a question? Is there somebody in your life that is from the past that you are saying to yourself, nah, I don't want to go in that direction? Is there something like that happening? Because that's kind of like how this keeps coming through to me, right? That, you know, almost looks like there was an inclination or somebody kind of like maybe coming toward you, and maybe you just wanted to go in this direction, but then you said to yourself, no, 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 let's leave the bygones be bygones. Or maybe there's like just also possibility that either you or that party cannot engage right now. It could be a distance. It could be that, oops, there you go. You got a reading freaking here. I just wanted to shuffle and a whole bunch of cards came through. Could be that somebody is in a relationship and you are saying to yourself, nope, you deal with this. I'm not dealing with that with you. I don't want to be involved in any kind of like messy situation. You know, guys, that you have to kind of like watch yourself when it comes to emotions. And you're kind of like doing your due diligence in that matter. So let's see what you got here. You got the Moon reversed, you got Two of Swords, you got the Priestess, you have Ten of Earth reversed, you have Strength, and you have Sea Kitten. This is going to be a very interesting week for you, Cancer. I would just summarize this reading. Choose love over here, right? Hi, Miss Sonia. It will be really interesting, yeah, to hear your comments over here. You see, this is very similar, even though this is a much stronger card, the Priestess. There is like that no. You know, like we all know. Sometimes we ask other people, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? But we do know. When she's upright, she knows. And these two cards are connected with the moon. Here's the full moon and here's the new moon. So when is the new moon? Like, is it tomorrow or something? So something is turning around for you here. This is also 9, right? So you have a 9 here, 9 and 9 and 10. Something is, you know, you're hitting a nail on the head kind of a thing, right? Maybe you have been in some kind of like situation. Maybe there was a jealousy. Maybe there was like indecision. I'm seeing a moon here as well. You see, there is like this moon and lunacy, and maybe you were acting out of your character, or you have been really revisiting things from the past. And you know what I really like about you, Cancer? Many signs kind of like think about things from the past, and the more time it kind of like separates us from, let's say, conflict or breakup, the more we idolize that situation. But you guys, and you are an emotional sign, and maybe it's self-protective, you do idolize it as well, but at the same time you remind yourself, but this and this and this and this and this happened, and I better watch it. Because you might have been dealing with somebody who was creating turbulence at home, who maybe didn't fit into your concept of what marriage is. Or maybe this could have been a problem with a marriage partner who maybe was kind of like, you know, maybe not committed, or you didn't know they're committed. You maybe had a rough patch over here, right? Maybe somebody stayed without work. That's also a possibility over here. But then again, as I told you, it was my instinct to tell you choose love, because I see that here as well. This is saying things are going to be okay. Things are going to work out. You're having strength. And strength to me is, hey, you know what? Nobody's going to get a piece of you over here, right? And there's like this flirtation again. Sea kitten to me is like almost like identical card to this Ace of Cups, right? Pages are also the beginning of the court cards. So there is like this cuteness galore that is happening. So if you guys are looking down, if this is you, that you feel that you're trapped, you're going to miss the moment. If you get involved in family disputes or gossips, you will not notice. If you are indecisive and you are trying to run marathon and you're looking behind you, you're going to slow yourself down, right? This moon card is clearly also indicating the solution, and solution is, it's not going to be haze, it's not going to be dark. At this stage, you're able to see. Cat does see in the dark, right? So you really kind of like really need to focus on what you want. And one thing that people don't know about you, because you're sensitive, is that you're not chicken. That, you know what, you are actually able to take chances on somebody who has hurt you. And that's because you know how to protect yourself. After all, Cancer has that, you know, armor. It's almost like a knight, and that's why your card is Chariot, and Chariot is ruling all knights, right? And they have the shield for that reason. So I really want to see this one because the rest of them are cute. Merchant, is there an issue with work? Maybe this is just completely telling a side story over here. So I don't know for whom I was explaining this card. Merchant, right? This is really talking about incentive. It is really talking about possibly business, right? It is really talking about a new direction that you really want to follow. It could be financial gain, it could be investments, but since it's coming as additional information or clarification of this card, it's really saying that maybe somebody is not in the right frame of mind, which could be you guys. You are very diligent with your money, and maybe you feel like you have been spending too much over here, right? But this is also saying, hey, this is a really good omen over here, right? So maybe you guys simply dealing with some kind of secret meetings over here, right? Maybe there's like somebody older that you're kind of dealing with over here. Maybe something has to be hidden over here, or maybe like you're lacking confidence. Maybe you know, and I would say you're lacking confidence in yourself, that maybe you're saying to yourself, I cannot trust this person, or even more spiteful, I don't want to trust this person. So I would really again repeat, take a chance on this, because Merchant is taking chance. You never know what you're going to get back, but you can certainly try, because I see that this could be a really fun period and fun week. So why not to have a little bit of good karma? Like, I mean, you guys deserve it, that's for sure, right? Okie dokie. So let me see the next one, so Barbie can prepare, will be Scorpio. And we are seeing the energy there, right, in Leo. So let me get your icon, guys. So we have a kind of beginning of the chapter for my Scorpios. Yeah, I love this little kitty. That took forever with that little kind of like thick tail. Scorpios. So that is going to be... Is it going to switch eventually? Okay. So Scorpios. Oh, Barbie. Can we do the door after Scorpio, since I already kind of like pull it up, but we can do it right after. So Scorpios, this one wanted to go intuition. This is a lovely card for you, and this one wanted to go out. So we have intuition, or the high priestess. This is a major arcana, and this is emotional withdrawal, which was just the same card that we were seeing previously. And then you have partnership and alliances. It's almost like contradictory. So there is this 11, right, energy, and 2. So there is like 13. This is clearly describing your energy. I think this is all very positive, to be honest with you, because we have here the universe, right? So there is like something about life. This almost looks like a mask that has been lifted, and look at that. There is like that some essence. She doesn't have to look at it, she feels it. So there is like this kind of like a feeling of you connecting, of you coming into this knowledge. Maybe you need to recharge your batteries, because this to me shows somebody meditating, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, that there is like this blue trail happening over here, and there is like a hand and a foot. So there is like some kind of like memory that is created. But this to me, since there is like no, clearly not dark, this really talks about enhanced communication that I think it's really happening in your case. It could be also something about commitment. It could be also something about you wondering if it is best for you, and how much you have to maneuver, how much you really have to work with this. And generally this card shows 3 people, but in this case it shows 2. It shows unity. It cannot be better, because even if you look at reversed, it would show the same. It's one of those rare cards that have the same thing, right? So I don't know if you have to figure things out for yourself about the new direction, but it looks like that people will be there for you, with you, that is going to be this essence of how to make things work. So let's see why I have this new information. We have Sky Tome, or Knight of Swords. Then we have Fire Tome, so the Knight of Wands, and then like they're people, and then we have Earth Queen reversed. So it looks like that you have people around you, maybe earth, fire, and air, but this could be just different aspects. So what we are like missing here is water, your water. So maybe other people are warning you about this or criticizing you about this. Let me just try to lift it to get it easier shown to you. And it's kind of like really interesting. You might have some kind of like harsh things. You might be told that you just want to have kind of like your cake and eat it too, kind of a thing. I do think that, as I said, this could be an air sign. Like we usually tend to be very vocal, and somebody could be on their soapbox. So if you don't know what soapbox is, just go to the beginning of this live and listen to me like I'm in whining for 15 minutes until I get out of my system, but then it's over. It's kind of like no more like I'm in problem. So it could be somebody who or maybe this is simply you processing these people. It could be 3 different people in your life, or 3 different aspects. So one is sort of like very pragmatic one, and somebody could be very whiny. Somebody like this to me is somebody who suffers from vanity. This, and I lifted too much. This could be somebody who is it's just me, who wants to be placed on a pedestal, right? Maybe you're just looking at your past relationships and seeing, well, how did I find myself in this situation? Or maybe you had a partner like this. Maybe you had somebody who's all or nothing, because Fire Tom to me is like, and I don't know if you can see it, he's burning his tail. Sometimes you wiggle through the situation and it gets tricky. What is really important to me that these 2 are knights, that maybe you had people in your life who were not sticking, who kind of had great potential, but it was like something off, because here I'm getting this communication, and interestingly this communication is going toward the Sky Tom, which also is communication. It could be a little bit too much of a communication, and being a little bit brazen and being a little bit careless about that. Here it could be like, that you got a little bit burned with something else, or that you had something that was, It's just like too much for me to handle. Maybe this is just simply awakening, because that's why you have this intuition. Because you guys, I think you had readings for a while where your intuition has stalled, right? And this is really, really good thing in this case, because you're finding a productive way to kind of like move forward, to kind of like deal with things. So let's just see. Stephanie, right, Scorpio rising. Did you know that when you have Scorpio rising or any Scorpio in any of your kind of like inner sign, inner planets, so Mars, Venus, Mercury, and pretty much you can consider yourself Scorpio. So just keep that in mind, or Ascendant, right, as well. That's really, really important to understand. So I really actually want to see this Sky Tom, because you value this person. You see, with this person you're like sort of like fully clear of what's going on here, and so are you with this one. But this person you really value, and you value their opinions. I really want to see where they're coming from. So sometimes even the harsh opinion, it's kind of like friends are important. I saw this movie Blinded by the Light. It's actually really cute, guys. You're getting messenger reversed. Well, Sky Tom is a messenger as well, right? And this kind of like also would give the same kind of like feeling. It could really talk about that some information that you really need to get is not coming over here, right? So maybe somebody's being overly negative in a situation, right? It could be that you are blaming somebody or somebody's blaming you, and it can be for two things. You might be blamed for doing things, or you might be blamed for not doing things, such as you didn't tell me this, and this is the information that I need to know, right? So it can really reveal a lot about this person that is kind of like doing this, right? So it might come almost like somebody who is more than willing to tell you, like, I mean, their opinion of themselves, and it's not going to be super nice. Let me just tell you this, right? This also can mean like simply that you're getting something in the mail, which could be assessment, it could be diagnosis, could be some kind of like opinion. Like, so this is all about opinion. So you know what, take it for what it's worth. Like, you can grab it and you can take it through a filter, and just to see if this is productive, not productive, not productive, off you go. Because you will be challenged in your position this week, and you are going to do a very smart thing out of it. You're going to say who is with me and who is not, and that is going to be how you're going to resolve the situation. And all these people have, you know, their 2 cents, just like people sometimes do that in my comments. But you know what, maybe they should put their credit card right next to their comments, just to see if this is just blabbing their mouth, or they really kind of like have something behind it other than self-interest, right? So it is really, really important to understand that. So the next one is Gemini. Oh no, the next one is, as Barbie said, we are going to do the card read. And which card deck will I get? Which card deck will I get? Let me grab something here. Grab it. I think this is called Karma deck, if I remember well. So guys, we're going to have 3 doors. Those of you who have been here, you know it. You ask yourself a question, as it says, think of a question, more or less kind of like yes or no. And I'm going to here, that's why I'm hiding it, I'm going to kind of like give you an answer over here. So shuffle, a little bit more shuffle, a little bit more shuffle, a bit more shuffle, 2 and 3. Okay, 3. We got 3 cards. Okay, let's see, let's reveal this and give you the answers. Ta-da! So okay guys, who asked for door number 1? The answer is here. Door number 1 is 6 of Swords. Well, Six of Swords, good news. Good news because this is really talking about troubled waters are being left behind. We are kind of like moving forward. Maybe we still don't know where we are really going, but we are certainly getting there. And he kind of like pried his swords right in the boat. So you're not running away from any kind of responsibility. You know that certain things still will be hard. They still need to be addressed. This is really, really clear over here. This can also impact somebody who is asking for somebody who is maybe not close by. There could be a distance, could be traveling involved, could be simply that it has to be communication, or it could be somebody who is, let's say, from the past. The answer would be yes, but it's a conditional yes, because it still will need to resolve 6 issues before you feel completely solid, before you reach the other shore. Door number 2, ta-da! You're having 7 of Pentacles. Very similar to door number 1, just backtrack and listen to door number 1. It's also conditional yes. There is like something that you really want to build over here. They kind of like want to overcome certain situation over here. You kind of like want much more than has been currently offered. You may be hesitant, or somebody's hesitant in the situation, how to progress and how to move it forward. This card connects to thinking about that, but the thinking is going to be with a positive result. That, okay, let's continue building this. So that's what I'm saying here. It might need to be addressed with practicalities of how this is done. That is really, really important, because he's really thinking how to do it. So it's going to come down to how agreeable are the partners for in order to move it forward. And door number 3, it was like few cards that jump here, and there is like a 9 of Pentacles reversed. There is like Knight of Pentacles reversed, and to me this is proverbial Aquarius, and this is proverbial Aquarius. So, and this is not like proverbial Aquarius when it reverses. Somebody doesn't want to be single over here. Somebody's asking about their Knight over here. I think you guys here are completely focused on the wrong question. You are asking something particular, not realizing that thinking in that direction is taking something that is way better out of your hands. So for example, person says, I want to win this like $5 million on water. I want to win this $5 million. So because your brain is shifting toward that exact number, maybe you would win 4, or maybe you will win some different thing that you kind of like had to go into it. And this is really important to understand, that you have asked the wrong question. Nonetheless, it's going to tell you that you really need to kind of like go deep inside of yourself and be your best friend, and ask yourself, would I want this for my best friend? Would I want them to deal with this in the same way? The answer is going to come to you. You're going to realize it's more than just what you think. It's going to be really, if people who you believe are thinking like for you, and if you don't have people around you who basically you trust, let's say some of us lost our parents, you can still actually just close your eyes and ask them a question, and they will answer to you, because this is really telling me about this connectivity and communication. So don't be afraid of being single. Don't be afraid that, hey, my knight on a dark horse is not coming through, because maybe your karma wants something completely different. I mean, for those of you who had karma readings with me, it's kind of like amazing how much of a wheel we get when we get that, and then you put things in completely different perspective. So hopefully, guys, so the answer is for the number 3, it's not going to happen the way you hope, but if you redefine the question, it may happen way beyond your expectation, guys. Okay, so I did say Geminis are going to be next, and Geminis did amazingly well. It was just surprising, Geminis, and Cancers being the last. So let's start with you, Geminis. So let me just get timestamps, So many people scream on timestamps, and I do understand it's kind of like hard to shuffle through 2 hour videos, but you know, Barbie is working and trying to really help, so let's help as much as we can. So Geminis, any Gemini over here? Do we have Geminis or Sagittarius Gemini tangent? We have authority. It's to me stability and positive movement forward, and this one wanted to come out. And intuition. Look at this, 10, 11. And 11 is belonging to, and this one might actually come out, victory and success. So 17, I was just about to say 11 is belonging to justice. It's one of my karma cards, right? And it belongs to Libra. But now it's 17 and belongs to Aquarius. So clearly there is like this very airy quality for this week, meaning there's going to be lots of thinking, there's going to be lots of communication. Guys, if you really want to date, maybe you got stuck on some kind of like issue, how things need to be. I really think that somebody's going to really disarm you with lots of messages, lots of loving communication. It's going to be lots of things to process, but you're going to be really you'll be celebrating at the end of this week. This is absolutely actually lovely. I really have to tell you, it kind of like feels almost like some of you that you are asking for commitment. You're asking for the next step, whatever it is the next step. You really want to know where you stand. That's why we have this authority showing up. And this is like sometimes like cool head. Like, does this make sense? And why am I exactly wasting my time over here if this is not going somewhere? And you know, like, we are not kids anymore. That kind of can be that kind of conversation, because can you see over here how he has those pillars? But they are just charted. They are really not built. So there's like somebody who is demanding to have it built. And you see he's crossing his arms before his heart chakra. So he is saying, let's not involve heart in it. Yes, I do love you. I can see that. But it has to be more than that for us to push it forward. Very, very important. You guys might be involved with water sign or with fire signs over here as well. And it kind of like can be a little bit mix of energies. But I really think this is also very good that you're very intuitive. You're starting to feel things. You actually have another 8 over here. And you, on one hand, like, you're in a really good situation. You're like wondering if the situation is the best for you, and you want to stay in the situation. So it kind of like gives you a good, let's say, hand to negotiate over here. And that's why you have 8 of C. You're going to say, yes, you know, I do love you, but then again, my ex-partner washed my dishes. Oh my gosh, this kind of like reminded me of Seinfeld episode. Do you remember the sponge episode? Is anybody as old as me to remember contraceptive sponge? Which was so horrible. It will create so many infections. But it was the Seinfeld episode where they finally pulled the sponge from the market, and Elaine went to purchase all of them, right? And then, since she had limited supply, every boyfriend had to plead their case why she needs to sleep with them, because she was like calling them sponge worthy. That's kind of like what this card is all about. Are you sponge worthy? Do I really need to spend my time with you? And I see flirtation, guys. I do see flirtation. I do see sex. I do see, you know, somebody coming on very, very strong, right? It could be like fire all over the place. And why is like my camera moving all the freaking time? And this 5 of fire or 5 of wands can talk about, you know, that positioning and repositioning and kind of like figuring out things. And sometimes there's a step backward in order to kind of like move forward. So it is like really something to kind of like take into account. I really don't have much to clarify over here. I do want to actually see this card, intuition, because it's very different from authority. It's almost like the two sides of a coin. I mean, really the Empress would be the other side. But this can actually talk about secrets. This can talk about maybe that you have been, you know, kept under the wraps, or you kept somebody under the wraps, and now there is like this rebellion. No, 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 this cannot happen anymore. So let's see what's hiding over there for that intuition for you, Gemini. And this one jumped. And consolation. Well, I don't know who had it. Was it Virgo? Consolation is like about something happening for you. You're benefiting, right? I said, like, I mean, karma is rewarding you like this. You paid it forward, guys. You did something. You paid your dues, and now consolation is showing up with this angel saying, what do you want? Tell me what you want. I'll just do it for you. It's just like a freaking genie. Think of a genie, right? So now you can just do these wishes, but it happened for you for a very reason, because something has happened in the past that, you know, this angel was paying attention over here. This is the card about optimism, right? And it's a card about positive changes and kind of like good results over here. So I don't know, like, I mean, this angel bearing a kind of like, what is this, a twig or olive probably, right? And a bag of coins, right? So this is unexpected. Something unexpected will be happening. Could be a gift, or could be honors. It could be a meeting or something that's going to result in some kind of like change, and you guys are going to have some kind of like new opportunity. I also feel that some of you, and maybe this is why it's connecting with intuition, had some kind of like particular dream, and that's going to become reality right now. But that is deserved. It's going to look like, and this is like where I don't want you to feel, oh, I got saved, and yes, it's kind of right. No, this really happened because you truly, like, I mean, deserve it. Like, I mean, this kind of rewards come to those who really believe firmly in their ideas, and now, like, their hopes are completely realized, right? So that's something really, really pleasant, right? So even if you have challenges, kind of like deal with them like in a positive way and with optimism, and you're really going to sail with somebody into that proverbial sunset over here. Really, really good, Gemini. I mean, nice to be you over here. Okay, so who do I do next? Oh, Barbie is in a different time zone. This is lovely that I have people. We see 11:11 twice during Catter Day. So next one is Sagittarius. Let me find your icons. Sagittarius. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. Okay, so let me write this timestamp. Oops. Sagittarius. That would be 19. Alright. Let's see what we can see this time around for you, Saggies. Ooh. Harmony, but it reversed. It jumped reversed. And this one wants to come out. This one is suffering in silence. Ugh. Come on. And this is kind of like on the same tangent on Gemini, Sagittarius, and emotional loss. Oh. Okay. Any Saggies over here, guys? Let me just pull more cards over here. Who is Sagittarius? Let me just try to figure out my camera. It kind of looks it goes down here, but it clearly shows it differently. So I guess possibly the camera is done in a different way. There, better. Let me have a sip of my coffee. Kylie, Sagittarius. Ladybug is Sagittarius. Okay, guys, pay attention. Tell me, what the hell is this all about? Is it feeling that you're with somebody who's not committing? Are you feeling that, oh my freaking god, I want to like pry their eyes out? Or, you know, in one moment, because you're Sagittarius, right? You're like fiery sign, right? Or you're feeling, oh my gosh, like, I mean, I am so sad that I'm the best to be angry. Otherwise, I would be like just, you know, like just on my own. Because it does, you know, this is 15 and 5 would be 20, right? So, and this is 14, which is you. Oh my gosh, this is exhibition. We have in Toronto exhibition, and these are the last 3 days that they have these air shows, which you are going to hear now. And if this becomes as loud as it is right now, I'm just going to close the windows. So guys, the energies over here are telling me that it's a little bit upside down energy. I'll be really honest with you. Maybe you feel that you're completely disconnected from someone. You feel, oh my gosh, you have been God to me. You know, I want to do things for you. But there's like something that maybe is not being realized, cannot be realized. And you are processing this on so many different levels. This is processing it in your head and trying to sort out and trying to make sense out of everything that is going on. And here is like the just like, you know, undefined thing that just like go, you know, like it was two and that is now that was like just a one kind of a thing. This is also a card that sometimes warns that we are holding onto karma and on a partner who should have been let go, who should have been let go because the karma and the contract finished with this person. There's like somebody who is just not thinking seriously. And like, I don't know, could have been somebody you have been married to or have been serious relationship with, because that's why we have the 10 of C over here. I need to close, and even at that we are going to hear it through my windows. Then we have a 4 of Wands. Let me just close the window. Hopefully that's going to be better, guys, now. So this is a card of entrapment. Somebody feels trapped in a situation over here. And look at this kitty, right? This kitty is all panicky. It's all freaked out. The night is coming. The bats are coming down, screaming and twisting and twirling and injuring like himself or herself, right? The point of this card is to realize and understand that you actually in the situation you really need to think strategically. You need to think how to wiggle out. It seems to be very deep-rooted situation as is shown, where maybe they're like not easy answers. Maybe it's not like I just gonna jump out of it. Maybe somebody's looking for that easy answers, right? Because this is kind of like where it reverses. So again, we have this 14, 6 and 8 over here, right? We have a 14 here, we have a 14. 14 is temperance. 14 is your card over here. This is just like showing me different aspects of you. And we have a 14 here. Look at this, 3 times. And I really think this is really telling me 3 different stories over here. So this is really telling me that maybe some of you have a situation with someone who can be an air sign, clearly, Gemini possibly, but it could have this Gemini kind of like energy where, you know, there's somebody always wanting what you don't want, kind of a thing. Devil's advocate, Geminis, but you Sagittarians sometimes are the same way. So, and maybe somebody's stuck in a situation and they can't react properly. So there's like something to absorb over here. Over here, like let's go with stories. I really think these two are story and these two, but we can also look at them this way, right? So in this case, it could be like about children if you are looking this way. It could be about marriage. It could be about, oh my goodness, what is really happening, because they add to 19 and we also see the sun, and somebody's like really looking setting of the sun. It's kind of like two of us, two different people can look at the same thing and see completely different thing, right? Depending on our internal frame of mind. So there is like mismatch over here. Like they're like, I mean, two people wanting completely different things at this particular situation, because this is the card definitely talking about the next level. What is the next level, in which kind of like situation to go to, and what do I do over here, right? Because it's almost like telling me that you are emotionally awakened, and maybe this is through pain, but it's almost like you are wavering between pain and then excitement, pain, excitement, a little bit of bipolar energy over here. But I also feel there is like a something that is really clear in your head. You you want happiness. You want, to me this is like about the common goal, right? Kind of like this feeling of everything is together, family is together. It's a very much a family card. Like in the regular deck it shows this like big rainbow and kind of like waving at this rainbow, like children playing, a husband and wife hugging. And to me this is the next level. It's almost like, guys, you're being challenged to the core, and it's really telling you something needs to be pushed to the next level. Maybe you need to push yourself, because this is these two cards that are actually mirroring each other. I mean, this one to some extent are showing like that constraint, right? And showing that something is not moving. And when something is not moving, it's actually really pulling you back. This is like me running and the tiger swirls around me. You cannot run forward. And it's just making you really nervous in this situation. That's kind of like what I feel over here. Maybe you cannot even verbalize the entire situation that is happening over here, but at the same time, when you cannot verbalize, then you start feeling pain, and then you start verbalizing, you're starting to feel more comfortable. So that's kind of situation where you're going to be in. So I want to see this emotional loss, and I think something flicked. Two cards flicked. Widower and hope. I think some of you are still hoping for your past partner to come through. I'm just trying to catch up with the comments. Ladybug, you are Sagittarius, right? Married to marry Capricorn and walk me kind of connected. And Kylie is saying wanting a harmonious unity with the family dynamics. So that's another thing that I've seen here. But widower, it's really interesting, right? And this is a very interesting combination, very similar to this. We see this suffering and silence over here with this widower, and this hope. She's blindfolded over here. Like this card would be shown blindfolded. So we are getting a repetition of the messages. So that basically means that we definitely need to see them and absorb them. And it says here, alla mia cara Melly, my dear, right? So this is mourning a loss. There are some kind of regrets. Maybe there is clearly sadness or abandonment over here, right? This kind of like really says that it's good to kind of like accept certain situation as over, right? There's like somebody who accepted that. Like, I mean, his wife has died and he's no longer closed inside of his home and crying. He's now able to come to the funeral, right? Or to, pardon me, to the grave. It really can talk about the feelings of basically significant loss or separation. So it could be end of basically of love or love affair, loss of kind of a job, maybe. It can also talk about loss of a friend, or like, I mean, I don't know, failure of a business. It can talk about triggering that loneliness and regrets that come through it, right? I don't know, and you guys, fire, and it kind of like really feels suffocating for you. You really don't know. Look, I mean, this is the only fire over here, and this fire is telling you get back on your feet, kind of a thing, right? You're really not finding yourself that you kind of like are comfortable in the situation or handling this, right? So this is a complicated situation that the guys are going through. It's going to be weak with lots of words over here. It's going to be weak about regrets and maybe solitude, maybe sadness, right? So I would say that you need to kind of like figure out that certain things need to happen on their own time and on their own merit. Right now there's like not much you can do. I don't think you're giving up though, and that's why you're getting this hope card, which is the repetition of this Eight of Sky, right? Which is basically anticipation and waiting. It's a positive card. And this is something that is really precious about you Sagittarians. You are not giving up. When you kind of like have this goal, which here is this happy family, and resolve these issues, this is really talking about moving toward it and kind of like focusing on it, maintaining this hope, gaining what has been lost, right? It's kind of like almost that you're going to have a strategy and start executing that strategy, right? And also toward the end of the week, things will actually turn in your favor and they might get resolved. So it's kind of like not only about your heart issues, which most of you are here, but also having that confidence. You know, sometimes it's like even before things are resolved, when you kind of like have the confidence that things will just really, really work out, right? Now, this can also talk about signaling a time when it's to give up or to move on, which can also talk about certain things maybe need to be abandoned in order to move forward. So is somebody holding you back? Is somebody entrapping you over here? So you guys, again, like I don't know which sign this was. It was on the doors. It said your question is wrong. So here, are you focused on one person instead of focusing on a feeling and what you want in your life? Like you need to shift. And when you shift, things are going to start moving in a very good direction for you, even possible with this person that you are inquiring over here. So that's going to be really important over here. So let me catch up over here. There you go, ladybug. That's a positive attitude. That's really, really positive attitude. So it's good to know. I think Sagittarians are coming really long way because they've been going up and down and up and down and up and down in kind of like in my readings over the last 2.5 years. So the next one is Libra. Ta-da! Libra, 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 Libra. Where is the Libra sign? Over here. That's me sitting on the scale and kind of like pretending that the scale is lying. It's not working properly. That's pretty much typical. But let's do it. Libra, mark it down. And timestamp for Barbie. And let's do it. And guys, don't jump on Barbie because of timestamps. Like, I mean, I am trying to write down. By handwriting is like doctor's handwriting. So she's trying to do her best, and if she misses, that's my fault, not her fault. So we have mental conflict. Ooh, you have a bundle over here, Libra. Then we have awareness. Then, moving on, authority. Oh, karma card, triumphant success. Disruption, of course, not everything can work without a glitch. And suffering in silence. Decisions, Libra. I'm not surprised this is really showing up for you because this is clearly your card over here. Mental conflict. It's really telling me that there is like situation where you really will be asked to reach a decision, reach conclusion, go in some direction, and you will have a really hard time making that decision. It's almost like it would be really, really impossible for you because you're going to find pros and cons for both options that you're going to have offer. So that could be job, it could be love life, it could be new direction, be with someone or not, two different people. You need to move, but that means the friends are staying behind, right? It could be one of those tricky things where you actually do not want to choose, kind of a thing. And hence, you're getting this card, awareness. Awareness is awesome. Absolutely awesome card. It belongs to your sister sign, as I think for Gemini. Gemini's got Libra and Aquarius, and you're getting Gemini here, right? So the awareness is saying you actually have everything that you need, all the information you need. Maybe you're saying to yourself, no, I need to spend a little bit more time thinking about it. and almost like it would feel like dragging your feet. It could be for some of you, clearly that's why you're having moving on. It could be literally physical move, moving on to a different job, moving on to a different partner, moving on to a better place. You have to really ask yourself, because you see there is like this download of the information from the universe, from God, whatever is your belief system over here, right? 7 and 2 is 9. It's the end of one phase. You guys are really moving into something new, something that you are going to be a little bit maybe more pragmatic, maybe more demanding. Maybe if there is a world that you really want to build, maybe you're feeling, oh my gosh, I'm a little bit behind the schedule, or I'm 40 years old, I should have been there, you know, like I mean 10 years ago. It happens all the time at any age, kind of a thing. But then it's kind of like really interesting that what I'm getting here is this. So you almost like you set a plan, you set a sail, you know where you're going. I love this card. He's going from this darkness to the light, right? And it's almost like opening your eyes. Maybe somebody suppressed you. Maybe you have been dealing with somebody who got you repressed, who got you doubting in yourself, who was gaslighting you, right? Maybe you have, you know, what they call it, old school. I don't like that saying old school, because as if in old school, like I mean, men were terrorists or people were overly strict. To me, authority talks about, hey, you know, we need to kind of like figure things out differently. So here it is triumphant success, and it's also kind of like we have one light and one kind of like darker sign. One is very spiritual, one is very pragmatic over here. This is why I'm actually considering this karma card as is the only karma card from Minor Arcana, and that's why it's the very first one in Minor Arcana. This to me, it means reaching through, almost impossible. Like you're taking a step back. Like I can clearly see that you're taking a step back and saying, wait a minute, when was the last point when I had something like this, when something like this did work, right? And it's almost going to strike you like a shock. You're going to come to some answers. You're going to come to some understanding that might not really impress you. You will, and this is good for you, you'll kind of like have a little bit moment of introspection. And this is almost like giving, like, I mean, shit to yourself. I mean, I have Libra Ascendant. I do that at times. So, yeah, I don't need other people to be hard on me, because I do a pretty good job at this one, right? So disruption is the tower moment means, and who else had tower moment? Leo, like who else was it with the tower moment? It might be connecting with you guys. It's going to be something that it's just going to come, you know, from, like, I mean, open sky, a thunder in the sky, in the kind of like clear sky. You will wonder, why is this happening? When this happens, that kind of like really comes as something that really takes you back. It comes down to, oh my goodness, I kind of like didn't have it right. So it's asking you, do you really want to rebuild it, or do you even want to move it forward, right? So I really think this also can be a question of creativity. It could be a question of boredom. It could be a question of, how do I move forward? There is like something in your life that is clearly upsetting you, right? Tower energy is not an easy energy to handle, especially not in the weekly reads, right? So when you have it in a monthly, then you can put it in a different perspective. You know that somewhere things can happen, but now it's very specific because it does correspond to Mars. And Aries that is showing up, it's also corresponding to Mars. And Mars is like that very rebellious and kind of like fight loving energy. So you might have disputes over here, or you might say, I am freaking tired of disputes. This is not stopping, and I'm not going to tolerate this anymore, right? So it could be that upheaval and change, and you are softer, basically, air sign. But if you're getting ticked off, you're taking the sword out, you're cutting things, you're slicing things, and you are going to say certain things need to kind of like be organized in a completely different way. It's almost like removing this mask and exposing the truth for basically what it is, like naked truth, right? And in order to change the situation, you're going to say, okay, what are we dealing here with? Let's kind of like do it, right? Change is difficult, so you will be shaken, right? Because you will be taken out of your comfort zone, and I can see here you're being left kind of like, kind of like a little bit puzzled about this whole freaking week. So let me check this. Let me check the disruption. Hi Neuralay, how are you? Let me check this disruption. Ooh, thief. Ooh, boy. Now, it's not a good card, but it's giving us some kind of like good information. So thief. I don't really have to explain what thief really is, right? It is like clearly somebody encroaching on our space and taking something that really shouldn't be, right? It could be sudden unexpected loss that kind of like is happening. Maybe, you know, somebody's moving away from you over here by putting the rules down, or this can also talk about betrayal or damage. That will be that Seven of Swords card over here, right? So somebody's sneaking in the house through this open window. So somebody has left the window open. Maybe you are giving somebody, you know what they say, give them a rope and see what they'll do with that. Somebody hang themselves over there, right? So the house clearly has people living there. We see the flower over here. So somebody left house unattended and vulnerable. So this is really telling you that something is invading over here unexpectedly. It takes away valuables, right? It belongs to someone else. I'm surprised that he doesn't have that proverbial mask basically on his face, right? So this card talks about people who are basically wicked with bad intentions. And Barbie, I've seen that. Yes, we're going to do that. And your guard may be down over here. And this is why it's a good card to remember, this authority, kind of like, you know, be careful not to involve in scams and fraud. If relationships are not working, maybe one partner is living a parallel life or betraying your trust, and hence this is it. You're not going to have it, not for a moment anymore. You're air sign. Air signs don't tend to beg or negotiate too much. It is, look, this is not right, doesn't sit with me. Yes, it hurts like cutting my own leg, but you are going. I'm not tolerating this anymore, right? If you guys have health issues that I do have to mention, right? Something is brewing under the surface. Don't ignore the symptoms. Just go and see your doctor. Whether or not you have a medical plan or not, go and see your doctor, because that can be something that is really happening. And guard what is important to you, including your peace of mind over here, Libra. So it's very important. So we are going to go next with, and I didn't do the other cards because we have a whole bunch over here. We'll be the doors as Barbie requested. So just give me this little bit. Give me this. Okay, door. Guys, imagine the doors. Okay, so I'm shuffling over here and you ask your question. I think one card flicked here. Okay, door number 1. Door number 2, I didn't even see this card. And door number 3. Okay, decide if it's going to be left, center, or right. And there it is, door number 3. So let me reveal this and go with this. Okay, guys, for those of you who thought about door number 1, Barbie, I'm reading your goodness, time to step back out of the fire this week. Got an appointment. Yes, that's actually very positive, because that card meant things will be actually addressed. So door number 1 is the Hangman. The situation is going to be status quo over here. Some significant sacrifices need to be done over here for this to come through, but it looks like that maybe at this time might not come through, because there is like a really a need that somebody understands the other person and how and why they're asking or demanding certain things. Without that, the glue is not going to generate, because there is like the question of empathy over here that somebody is at this stage not able to comprehend. The Hangman is also very much, as you can see, like a surrounding control, and it will be the best advice to you guys to just simply just say, okay, at this stage I'm just going to surrender and see how things can actually work out. And Barbie, I forgot to put a timestamp over here, so I actually put a little kind of like asterisk next to it that I don't know. So the door number 2, let me have a sip. Is 3 of Pentacles reversed. Very similar in energy. This is a little bit stronger. It's really talking you must sacrifice. Actually, both parties have to sacrifice, even though somebody thinks that they're like crows are very, very smart, and there's like somebody talking possibly about workability, practicality of it over here. This is also with Pentacles over here. 3 of Pentacles, and look at the kitty over here. It's that proverbial card about handshake. Are we able to put things together? Are we able to collaborate? Confidence, but it is reversing. So all of a sudden there is like creating this competition over here, this harmony. There's also very stagnant energy, and I really think that's interference over here. So I think the answer will be no over here, guys. I know, because see here, somebody needs to be placed in a situation to think about it. Think about what you did. Think about how I see that. Where here, somebody just doesn't want to do it. Period, right? And the door number 3 is 4 of Wands reversed. Well, this is one of those cards that has a very similar meaning, up and down. And it is really talking about going to the next stage of wherever you are. It's the kind of a joyous celebration of some kind of like stuff. It could be a union, it could be a promise. This is similar. The answer is yes, but it can come to a yes through some kind of like transition, through some kind of instability. It could be tension, it could be kind of like, okay, like that you almost like feel certain things need to happen, but the last moment somebody changes their mind and you have to shift the plans where you're thinking they're letting you down, but it will happen. So something like that might be actually choreographed in this kind of situation. So let's see. I don't know, guys, which doors did you guys have it for you, and hopefully, you know, we can just like work through it. So the next one that I have here is Aries. Aries, you kind of slipped after that, so I really hope you're going to improve your standing very soon, because these are like a little bit older stems, but let's do that. Aries, and see what is in a store for you. What is in the store? Aries, Venus. Oh boy, Stephanie, you have interesting configuration. You have Scorpio, Ascendant, and Venus, Aries, kind of like pulling in all kind of different directions. Solitude, trapped in fear. Holy moly. And positive movement forward, but kind of like it's weird, and I don't know why I pulled them like, I mean, from right to left, but this is kind of like how it felt. There are like some issues. You need to kind of like find some answers. Somebody's demanding some answers, or you are asking for some answers, and they are silent. They're not silent because you are stonewalled. And I think that's very important, especially for Aries, to understand. I'm just trying to get my camera straight as well. Positive move forward is a good card. It can talk about maybe that the week starts exuberant, messages, things are happening, maybe Labor Day, people are getting together, doing things, and all of a sudden there is a switch of some sort, of some kind. The trap in fear, I don't know like why they call it trap in fear. Nobody's really trapped in fear. Well, it could literally mean incarceration, right? But it can also mean, to me, that really represents, for example, when people are dealing with somebody who is married, and you know, people get suckered in relationships with people who are separated or married. So, and then emotionally engaged, it's really hard to let go. But this person, let's say, just has some kind of commitments with their family and they're not available, and that's where you start realizing how ridiculous is the relationship where you're kind of like involved, right? So look at this, we got the same card over here. So this is why this card makes us, creates for us, like, I mean, like really this feeling of not being liked, not being wanted, being isolated, being separated. But it also makes us kind of like come and kind of like try to do different solutions. We do have a little bit Tower hidden in your reading over here. I really feel that some of you might be dealing with people who you really want and who are giving you, you know, what they call it word soup or word salad, but they don't follow through. There are lots of words, no action, kind of a thing. It's going to be a really interesting week. You're going to be very uncharacteristically to your sign pulled in. Like, I mean, you have the Hermit and you have Solitude over here. You see, she is trying to study certain things. Oh, we have the visit. Do you like Aries? Huh? Oh? How much? How much? Are you bringing in good luck? Because I see that here. The Hermit simply means that, guys, you are maybe dealing with a situation that is very tricky. Hermit is extremely good card. I mean, the Floating Cat isn't, because this is like the Hangman, which really talks about somebody who actually didn't do sacrifices, who are almost deluding themselves that certain things will work out. Imagine like you're dealing with somebody, let's say, who is cheater, or who is married, who is in a serious relationship, where you don't feel right being with this person. At the same time, you're asking yourself, why I'm with this guy, right? Like, I mean, people need to be asked question that is really weird, such as, hey, you know, my boyfriend, like, I have a problem with my boyfriend going to strip clubs. But if you position this and saying, you're with a guy who goes to strip clubs, that you need to ask yourself, why are you doing that? Don't make them change. You need to figure out, would you change, right? And that's kind of like what basically is here. Maybe somebody's saying, yeah, you know, I am releasing the stuff, I'm reflecting, right? But instead, there is like this missed opportunity as a result of it, that you're sitting and waiting for somebody over here. Like, I mean, the question is like, why are you waiting over here, right? Hermit could simply mean Virgo, that you have this Virgo energy over here. It's asking you to spend time alone, to meditate, to be kind of like calm, that reflection. Because this is clearly telling me that this actually is really needed, because introspection is going to come through. You have something on your nose, Mrs. Safi. You have something on your nose. But then this happens. This is the card that to me, like, and I love, look at that, like, I mean, it's almost like a crest. It's a fire. Talks about after this, maybe day 2 or even 3 this particular week, you might simply start getting a new fire. So this person might just come through with lots of passion, with lots of potential, with lots of enthusiasm. And you will really have to think through for yourself if this is okay. I mean, I can see this fire that you are very attracted to when it comes to this person. But there are certain things that just keep repeating over here. You didn't get 1, but 2 Hermit cards. It is really asking you to think through it. It's almost like, and I'm sorry to say this, Aries, it sounds like an addict, a love addict who, and it could be self-esteem or codependency issues, right? That you really need to hear certain things and somebody just has to say, oh, I love you. You know that they missed you. But they didn't call you. They didn't say what they said they would do. and all of a sudden somehow you're not looking at that and you're listening to the words. How about you see if the words and actions match, and if this works? You wouldn't kind of like walk out in the top part of the swimsuit and the bottom part, you know, like I'm in winter boots. You know, it kind of like certain things need to fit, and this to me, it signifies some kind of like misfit. And yeah, it bothers me. It does bother me. I want to see this Hangman. I mean, these two cards, what's up with those, right? Actions do speak louder than words. Words are very important, but like, I mean, words, people who are con men or cheaters, they will mask lots of things with words and flowers. So we have Scholar reversed over here. Okay, so let me see what comes to me when I see this card. This dude has really funny slippers. I guess that's the first thing that came to me. The window, the knowledge. What is this? Would this be air conditioning? I highly doubt they had air conditioning in the 18th century. I'm facetious, you guys know that, right? So Scholar always talks about research thought, right? It talks about better kind of like be safe than sorry kind of a thing, right? It's kind of like understanding of the matter if you really wish, right? It can also talk about expert. Maybe you guys are going through counseling of some kind of like sort, because it can talk about an older person, a person who is having some authority behind them, just like he has all these books and knowledge that has now been absorbed, right? Somebody who is cultured, right? But this is also somebody who could be discreet, or it can talk about lack of discretion or that crisis in a relationship, right? So it's almost like needed to be, just like as I was saying, don't listen to the words. You need to kind of like see the action, but you might need to have an arbiter, somebody who be a wise person to provide counsel to kind of restore harmony of some kind of like sort, right? So to kind of give the guidance. This can just simply mean that somebody really doesn't care, doesn't have the consideration about what you are going through, right? Or if you guys going through some kind of like studies, that can tell me just be careful that you're preparing yourself properly, because otherwise this can talk about that it can be a failure, right, or something, right? Simply also can talk about somebody who you really under normal circumstances would consider uncivilized or rude or arrogant, right? But it can talk about let's say at work or in career, maybe that you are going to end up in a situation where you'll have to deliver something that you don't have a proper knowledge or proper research, right? So I don't know if you guys need to deal with lawyers. This actually can indicate about that as well. And I would just say for you guys that you need to really use logic this particular period, and logic and reason to solve problems. It is going to be very important for you to kind of like attend things in this particular way. So do you really want to take somebody back and keep going for another circle, another? This is really up to you, because you will eventually have to make some decisions, and that's why it's asking you and saying, guys, as well, it can be right now. That's going to be very important. Hi Norley, I'm glad to hear that. I'm getting like more and more complicated readings over here for my weeklies, because you guys are giving me all this more and more complicated energies, which is good. It's kind of like challenging me. So where am I now? Oh my gosh, I still have things to go. We have still 4 signs. It's getting longer and longer. Next one is Aquarius. So let me just do this Aquarius. After Aquarians, we are going to have Pisces. So Aqua girls and ladies and men, Aqua. So stamp. Okay, so let me shuffle this. Okie dokie. Spiritual strength and firm foundation. Wow. And 2 more. This one is deception and envy, And this one is patience and planning. Very similar what we had with the Emperor over here. And I see these pillars over here, and I see the strength over here. So Aquarians. I mean, I know in my case, somebody betrayed me, somebody cheated. This woman just wanted to steal my stuff. Like, I don't know what this guy is going on. It's going to challenge us. It's going to start asking us if we really, if we are going to walk the walk over here, right? We need to kind of like show that we are very determined in direction we are going. Spiritual strength is a really good one. It really says that, hey, you know what? We have been on the right path. We have been thinking about it. We have been dealing with that, right? It's kind of like something that is really processed inside. That could be your proverbial Nine of Cups, right? Which can really also talk about happiness and satisfaction. It is like something that is like being fed from inside, right? And it's really asking us to maintain this kind of like a thing, because like this firm foundation. And you know, like when you have like the pain in the lower back and you say you like pain in the back, it really talks about somebody annoying. It's also interesting that he has this mother thorn over here, right? And he's looking down. He's looking like, okay, I really need to propel myself. I really need to build myself. I need to push myself forward, right? So to me, that would be like that, you know, Four of Pentacles that really talks about, okay, am I a little bit stuck where I am? When people, for example, go into the highly saving mode, right? Because they are afraid of spending. And that's how actually we end up in recession. Everybody's like, I mean, pinching the purse. And that's what happens. The flow is stopped. So we have a dam erected. But this is also about addressing our own security, addressing who we are, addressing our own attitudes, right? And then really, this is a spiritually challenging week where it could be people who are simply deceptive, as just as the card says, right? And we really need to kind of like work through it, because this is a confusing card to me. But I almost like see these lines as steps, that we really need to push things forward. It's almost like we need to climb up. And it's kind of like showing different attitudes. It could be like somebody's opinion, somebody else's opinion, and what is in between. One is actually built, another one it's just maybe half built, maybe just marked through it. So it is again talking about, are we certain where we are going? But at the same time, I think it's sending this message, do not give up. It is very important to understand that you're on the right path. So just because somebody is taking our wind or sails away, or, you know, gave us the wrong information, let us down, backstab us, well, this is not on us. This is on them. And it needs to be kind of like, almost like shifted. Maybe our knee-jerk reaction is to kind of like yell and scream and do things, but I really think this is really saying, why don't we just demask them, expose them? We need to expose things for they are, because once when they reach the light of a day, they lose that ability to threaten. They lose this ability to kind of like be weird. Whoa, this is not bad. This is really telling me Ace of C, then we have Three of Swords reversed, and then we have Sky King. Ace of C really talks about something new, emotional. There is like something brewing that is really, really important, right? Because this is all nine. It kind of like really means we are kind of like coming to some kind of like a new plateau. And the plateau could mean, okay, do you want to stay stuck there or do you want to move forward? But plateaus, you need to break through, right? And it's going to be challenging for us on different levels. Also, guys, there could be somebody coming to our life from the past. Ace of C is like that, some kind of like romantic feeling, but it could have been somebody who has betrayed us, who has rejected us, who has called us names, because it's going to be a reminder of, and that's where this also maybe connects with, oh gosh, this was tough. This was tough. But it's going to be something very different this time around, because this is the proverbial cheating and a third party and somebody creating huge turmoil and breaking things, breaking us, breaking things. acting irresponsible, just acting self-indulgent, kind of like a thing, right? But this is kind of like different because we have changed. We have built this huge, unmovable mountain where we can just look at them and say, you know, I do forgive you. I do understand this. I do understand everything that is happening. Because the Sky King over here, this dude is the judge, and that's the strength, and that's the fairness. And it's maybe going to be that we would say, maybe I haven't been fair in certain things. Maybe I jumped the gun. But nonetheless, what you did was unforgivable, and this is why I moved on. But at the same time, it's going to be the crack opening doors, which is really, really good, into something new. So if you guys are open to something new, that new could be something that shows lots of solidity. This could be a new person entering our life who will have sort of like a good head and shoulders, who is person whom you can trust. And all of these things that we have been going through were not in vain, because we have learned how to find these people and how to realize these people are there. This could be just somebody who can be a contrast to somebody else, maybe coming from the past, or that we will just process them that way. So it's going to be very, very different things, and kind of like see in different directions. I want to see this deception and envy, despair. Oh my goodness. Was there somebody who just took her peace of mind? I mean, despair or jealousy in Vera Sibilla is kind of like definitely concept. You can see this guy. He is at the end of the rope. Like you can see, it looks like a picture of a woman that he's looking at. And he's like at a loss. He's like so weak, I guess, that he has to hold himself to this chair, right? It's telling me about somebody who's possibly cheated, just like possibly I see it here, or betrayed, or humiliated. I don't know. Maybe it's about some kind of scandals or mistrust. I do see here this connection of kind of like feeling this huge imbalance, and you know that's something, and that's what we call baggage. That's somebody who deposits that seed of mistrust that stays with us. It's much bigger than the seed, because anybody else we basically meet is suffering as a result of that, right? So this is that self-doubt that has been placed, and maybe that's simply the answer over here that's completely gone, right? And I don't know, like, I mean, that feeling betrayed, or feeling of not being loved is kind of like actually what makes us really vulnerable. But this is really saying, look, you simply from this point on cannot move fast anymore. You want to, because that's sort of a nature, but right, it's an air sign, but it says patience, patience. Plan things. If things do not happen in the way that you want, stop it right there, right? So this can actually really talk about being prepared to kind of like face certain things from the past, right? Maybe it's going to be obsession of some kind. Maybe it's going to be a jealous partner. Maybe it will be people who are just simply doing underhanded things. In any case, it says clearly, you know, things are going to work out. Things are going to balance themselves out. Things are going to be victorious, but they have to be fair. It cannot be a little kind of like tantrum. It has to be balanced, and it has to be fair. And we have to figure out that strength and confidence to kind of like find it within ourselves, inside ourselves. So it is very important, my dear Aqua, that we take this week by its horns, right? So let's go with that. So okay, so I see, Steve, Aquarians never leave you alone. We are just sign number 11, and that's why it's hopes and dreams sign, right? So the next one is Pisces. After Pisces, we'll have Taurus and Capricorn. So let's see. Pisces, the little kind of like fishy, looking really like strangely in this kitty cat that is kind of like lurking in the background. So pie mark for these people who are complaining. Okay, so let's see. Pisces, Hi, Binzad. How are you? Pisces. Ooh, solitude. You guys like this solitude. You kind of like really charge your batteries because you're connecting with the sources out there. Now this is interesting card. Everybody's going in this direction and he is going down. This one wanted to come out as well. So look at this is 11, 9/11. Whenever I see this code 9/11, it does remind me, of disaster, of course, right? Nothing about 9/11 is like what we should really look forward, unless 9/11 is a phone call that can help somebody. Pisces, I really want you to check your heart. I really, really want you to check your heart. It might be some scare, it might be nervousness, it might be literally that you have issues and palpitations over here. Maybe you're not getting enough potassium over here in your body, and that is simply really reacting over here. You see, he is following his own light over here. Clearly everybody's kind of going out there and he's like shushing everybody away. So there's like some feeling that you want to kind of like deal with some internal conflict. Maybe you need to think through it. Maybe you're going to get into a little bit introverted state of mind over here. This entire kind of like spread, it's adding to 20. 20 is judgment. It's a karma card. And it's really talking about, have you done right by someone? Have somebody done right by you or not? Or maybe you feel you did your share, but they didn't do their share. This can be one of those weeks where you feel, I'm doing all these right things, and why is this not coming back to me? For which reason is this happening, right? Because this is what makes us believe, like, that sometimes we get taken advantage of, right? Like, you help somebody, there is this expression, like, no good deed goes unpunished. And that's kind of like could be one of those weeks. And maybe this is exactly the realization that you need to have. Why do you think you chose the sign of Pisces for this life, guys? Your sign is not even belonging to astrology. You're already like transitioning. You're already connecting to this creator, right? So this is a similar energy over here, right? So you have been born as a sign of Pisces because you are going to encounter all kinds of people who want to hurt you, and you are supposed to, that's why you have fish usually swimming in two different directions. You need to realize when you should stay, when you should go, and that not everybody is going to be there with you for you. I really like that victory success is here, because this is also karma card here that is showing. I think for some of you, you have been dealing with somebody who made lots of promises. This particular king, when it reverses, is the one that I especially hate. That one and the King of Cups reversed. Because this Pentacles guy is actually talking to you as if you are already purchasing the house. He's holding your hand and he's like describing the living room and what kind of tiles he wants to put in the living room. Or lady is telling you how she really wants to have your kids, right? So all you can hear in your head, love, love, love. This is like music to my ears. But then when you say, okay, like, let's go and watch houses, then you really realize, what do you mean? And you're like, so much, you're too much. And like, whoa, it was you who did that kind of a thing. And this is kind of this dude who doesn't even mean it, but he's doing it purposely because he knows it's going to be appealing to you. He knows he's getting through to you, right? So this is also asking you not to absorb their karma, because it's telling me that you'll be very sad about somebody's behavior or somebody's conduct toward yourself, and you will be this time fully aware, or you're going to caught somebody in the lie, because this is that karma card, but it talks about the truth hasn't been told. Whether or not somebody tells you a blatant lie, or somebody simply doesn't tell you information that you need to know, it doesn't matter. Lie is a lie, even if it's a lie by omission, right? So, this is going to be the time where you need to pull inside. You are the sign that is connecting to the creator on the inside. So do not look for you know, confirmation or affirmation from somebody else over here. Other people cannot really make you feel sad. Like if you see somebody who's behaving this way, you should kind of like be able to position this and say, you did it to yourself. I have nothing to do with what you did, right? But I don't think you're going to be very successful in this, because somebody is going to highly disappoint you this week. You're going to come up victorious, because I think reveal of this person's character is going to be so important and so powerful for you guys, that this is like where that kind of karma plays its hand over here. So karma accomplished. You have done it. You're paying it forward. This person has to be just simply let go. So let me kind of like clarify the card. Yeah, that angry unicorn. Oh my gosh, I had to get it, friend. You know, it is very important, because you know, this is where the Aquarians connect with you, right? In this friend card, you guys will bend backwards for your friends. We Aquarians want, right? Because we are still kind of like on this earth, we are still dealing with sort of like earthy energy, not with universal energy. You know, like this is all basically hologram. We all here just playing our role that we assign to ourselves. You guys should get my my karma reading. So this is about trust and security, right? And I think that somebody was really promising you all of these things, and maybe you have been getting gifts from them, and maybe this is simply talking about a friend that could be unfaithful, or somebody who is not keeping a secret, somebody who revealed something very intimate about you, and it's kind of like really shocking you. It can talk simply about environment, right? So that you might feel a little bit isolated in that environment, right? It is clearly about relationship and trust, and that relationship doesn't equal trust. But you also have to understand that even if it doesn't equal trust, it doesn't mean that you're not learning something. It means that there are still things that need to be addressed over here, even if it is that you just simply realize that, hey, you know what, this is not working for me, because this is victory and success. I was listening if this is a thunder or this is a motorbike. Luckily it is a motorbike. So Pisces, it's not going to be a fun week. I'm not going to lie to you. But somebody else will. That's for sure. So the next one will be Taurus. Let's grab the Taurus icon over here. Taurus, Taurus, Taurus. Taurus, please, more clicking. Same as Capricorn. Actually, I think you did better. I'm just going down to oops, I'm going down to my regular thing. And what's happening here with the Taurus? Okay, I can fix this later. Something is odd and off. So Taurus, all right, let's check it out. What is this? Centipede? Barbie? Why did you pick centipede for Taurus? You. I freak out when I see centipede. Patience and planning. This also wants to go awareness. And then you have emotional loss. Ugh. And disruption. Okay, let me better get all these cards over here to see why we are getting this. Because this was like such positive thing going on, and then going in some kind of disruption and some kind of like feeling of getting stuck. So you are going into this weekend with a very positive frame of mind, with willingness to do certain things. Unfortunately, I think the strategy or your planning or something is off. Something is really off. Maybe you're not taking into account how other people will react in the situation. There is like something that will really need to be redefined. It's going to be a tricky situation that you will need to deal with. This is why you have disruption card. I don't know, it might be, you might be dealing with a person who feels neglected, or somebody is going to neglect you. Do we have any Taurus over here? Look at this. You have this 10 of sky and 5 of fire. So you have the Empress, you have 10 of fire, then you have a 10 of sky. So 10 of wands, 10 of swords, and then you have 5 of wands over here. So clearly conflicts over here that are happening, and this is weird. I really think this is actually you, because the Empress is that Venusian energy, and Venus is represented in Taurus and in Libra over here. So, and you also have Scorpio and Gemini appearing. Mercury is clearly showing up over here. So anything mercurial, when we have the awareness or the magician showing up, means things can actually really switch in an instant, something like that, which I feel in your case is happening. There's like something that is coming to an end, guys, literally to an end. And like there is like this essence of feeling of loss, of feeling betrayed. Not so much betrayed, feeling down. This is like clearly just sadness card, nothing more, nothing less. But it can be also that sadness that kind of connects to nostalgia, where let's say like you're like 90 years old and you're thinking when you were a child, and like you know that nothing is going to turn this back, right? And it's like really kind of like grasping your heart. That's kind of like a feeling that is described here. Maybe this simple disruption happens because it's kind of shaking you up and saying, look, that's really going just downhill. Don't even go and think in this direction. You need to kind of like figure out right here, right now, and how you're moving forward, because that's only way you can move forward over here, right? So 10 of fire, it really talks about, you know, maybe have been secrets over here in situation. Maybe you have been dealing with some difficult circumstances. Maybe there was a difficulty of a motherhood. Maybe there was a difficult of a fatherhood over here. It could be like simply that maybe you have just simply children issue, or not behaved child. But it really tells me that you also feel that other people are creating destruction, not only disruption, but destruction. Because look at this kitty. He is at the end of his rope. He has broken tail. This is really sad. Even the sadder than death card, where you're seeing all of these, 9 lives evaporating. Finally, you have reached your last, straw. But in this case, like, there's thunder coming. He's stuck, but luckily this is reversing, because at this stage it's kind of like understanding that, hey, life goes on, right? It's accepting of this new circumstances, it's accepting this renewal and not fighting. It could have been that you simply were fighting against windmills, kind of a story, right? It was just the wrong direction, and maybe somebody just like, slammed their fist on and kind of like messed your whole kind of thing. It might also be situation with law, guys. I don't know, traffic tickets come to mind, being stopped. So make sure that you have all your documentations. Make sure you're not doing anything that, can go wrong, and drive within speed limits. And I'm really serious about that, because you'll feel very powerful. See, this is not a good combination. You'll feel very powerful. You'll feel you can do whatever you can do, but somebody is going to really put an end to it, really within maybe hours or days. So I would really be careful. I will really be careful this particular week. Yes, the storm might come there, but it's going to be a very short storm. So that's why I kind of like want to have a general kind of like card for all of this here. Snakes, Kylie. A tiger sometimes reminds me of a snake, because when I run, I put the kind of like belt around me, and I hook him to it, and then instead of him running right next to my side, he kind of zips and zaps and then goes around, and the next thing I'm feeling like he just swirls around me like a freaking snake. So clarification for you is priest. Well, there's like somebody who is very kind of like do it my way because I have the short kind of like cut information from God. So they say. But this do the reverse. So I don't know about the spirituality or morality, because this card also can talk about it, right? Here, I would really say it's a loss of it. It's a loss of, that morality. There is also injustice, but I really think that what is possible, the most applicable, like in this combination, would be kind of errors in judgment, right? And so again, it is really telling me that you really need to kind of like play by the freaking rules, because it could be some kind of like miscalculations. I don't know, like this can talk about that you have a boss who had a bad situation on their own end, but they are like somehow reflecting that on you, or that you're being cold because of something, poor judgment, especially if you guys have a spending account at work. It can be questioned. It can also talk about somebody who you find out is living a very kind of like immoral life, right? I don't know, spiritual, that is just pretending to be spiritual. Honestly, pedophilia also come to my mind, but that's kind of like really extreme over here. So yeah, again, I'm seeing this authority that I just did not tell you. I can see this law and coldness. Somebody is not going to be even willing to listen to your side of the story. So that's what I'm saying. Prevent anything that could go wrong. Oh, that's caterpillar. Okay. Prevent things from going wrong by not allowing people to actually just create anything against you, kind of a thing, right? So it's very important. And the last but not least is Capricorn. I guess you recovered, and I just realized this is my actually old list, so my apologies to all the signs that have been progressing, but for the next week I'll make sure I have the updated list. So let's see. Oh, what do you meaning nothing special for us, Taurus? Oh, like, that was pretty kind of like interesting, I would say. It's also good to know that, the cup could be like, waiting in the bushes to give you a ticket, so just watch how you drive, right? At the very least that. So, Capricorn, and I have to do this icon a little bit differently. I don't think I did the greatest Capricorn icon, but for now, until I get a new wave of enthusiasm, let's just go with this. Okay, timestamp. So it is 2:20:49. Okay, I think Barbie might be really happy with me, that I'm going to send this to her, and hopefully it's going to translate to text to make it easier for us. So right, Capricorn being the last. Look at this, 2.5 hours. Ooh. And you got a freaking bundle. You're saying I'm last, but you're not going to skip on this kind of quality of the reading on us. And boy, what a lovely reading this is, guys. Oh my gosh, I really have to say I am envious for you, Capricorn. Spiritual union with foundation and achievements. It's finding the situation. You're going to be in a situation where you're going to connect with someone so much that you're going to look at this person and you're going to see your future. You're going to see almost like you can be in the middle of the storm, but for you it will be sunshine. For you it's going to be the most beautiful thing you have seen. There is like this third eye connection. You know how, I don't know which sign had this, like a love begins, which was one, but here it is like that cup that is showing this beautiful infinity of kind of like things are really coming together. Things are really kind of like going into this next level with you. Sacrifice is a great card in this combination, which means it has to happen, right? She's almost like angelic. Look at her feathers are falling off and she's becoming, and we see this rainbow in both of the situations, right? And the clouds are flowers over here, and these are these petals kind of like showering on her. What a beautiful things to do. And she has this almost like a tree pose, right? Trees sway. It's not really only that you're staying in the spot, so which means you need to be very flexible when you're going in this kind of situation. It's going to be something for you where, I don't know, like, I mean, it's going to be, you'll be more than glad to sacrifice, I would say. It's almost like, hey, you know what, I will need to kind of like put the lid down, but I'll be gladly doing this, because this is exactly the point of this, right? So this card is connecting to Neptune, right? And Neptune is basically really talking us about ending old ways, right? And releasing restrictions, and feeling this joy and this kind of balance, like these two hands coming together for kind of like having this kind of like newfound strength over here, right? It's going to be maybe kind of like understanding and enjoyment of this whole thing. It's going to be new perspective that you guys are going to have, that is going to make you feel extremely happy with having that victory and success over here. Victory, success, this is something that you guys have been working. Ooh, the World card. I'm going to stop here because the World card is the ultimate. Whenever is the first one, I stop there. Karma is accomplished, guys. I feel, guys, that this sacrifice can also indicate to me, especially because today you're the 12th sign being read and you're getting the Master Major Arcana number 12, right? And you're getting 12 here as well. So this is like, I mean, double the message here. This message is about unity, that there was like something you need to learn about yourself. The World card means karma accomplished. There's like something that you have been pushed through. Maybe you have been pushed through sacrifice. It's clearly nothing to clarify here for you guys. It's all clear. And the sacrifice that you needed to do is now going to pay for you, and pay in the most wonderful way. It's going to feel, you're going to feel financial comfort, you're going to feel emotional satisfaction, you're going to feel that you're at top of the world, that you like, you just want to jump, right, and scream from the top of your lungs. I don't know, it reminds me of a Tom Cruise, like jumping on this opera's couch. I love her, I love her, I love her, I love her. That kind of feeling you guys are going to have. This World card is like so positive. Look at this. Kitty is looking down and she's saying, this is all mine. I am the master of this planet. I am the master of this world. Looking at all of that, right? So this is Saturn, and the Saturn is like sort of like this dark planet, but when it comes in this card, it's like feeling so fulfilled. I don't know, maybe some of you might also travel to see your family. For those of you who are not interested, or who just like a really kind of like want to stay single, and you're realizing maybe this house might need some kind of repairs, and you're kind of trying to see how to get this done, how to make it work. And it's going to be a really nice and lovely feeling. Okay, guys, so this is all my 12 signs, and Barbie is ordering messages for the rooms, so I'm going to pull a card and I'm going to do that as well. So guys, please click like and click share, because that helps, because otherwise what's the YouTube is going to decide, well, 2.5-hour video, well, you know, let's decide this is not important, right? Because it doesn't have millions of stuff, so it always helps. So let me grab this deck that I'm actually using for my monthlies, but it's handy, so we can do it this way. So messages for the room, or message for the room. Okay, so collectively, what we need to be aware, like, I mean, there are 24 people watching right now, so what we need to know, what we need to pay attention to, what we need to be aware. I just want a one card, not 25, just want a one, collectively, common denominator for all of us, and it was 2 cards. Details, ooh, look at that clarity that is hiding over here. And the other one is like Field of Dreams, but it is reversed. So let's read. So it's going to be the devil is in the details, as they say. So let's start with that card first. it says, I like this kind of compass with these signs that almost looks like there are, actually there are horoscope signs, it's just my astigmatism. And then it says clarity, important. So, the most powerful patterns are created with the tiniest details. Pay attention. This is the time to be aware of the fine print in all areas of your life. Look at the details and leave the broad strokes for another time. When this card appears in the reading, it's a sign to finesse the project. Make small but meaning gestures or add a personal touch to your correspondence. Be aware that what you need to know lies in the details. If you're entering into an agreement of any kind, pay attention to them before, not after when it's too late. Clarity and transparency are key. You can gain great understanding by observing the minute body language, offhand remarks, and fleeting facial expressions that reveal the larger picture. That's how I study people. Sometimes I go out in the restaurant. I will actually go right after this reading. We have High Park in Toronto, and they have this outside restaurant where you can sit and eat. And I like to go on my own and watch people. I call it people watching. And it's really interesting. You don't hear what these people are talking, like meters away, but you can totally pick up on it, right? So this is what is really saying. Also check the people who live in who you deal with. Their choice of a spouse, their choice of a hobby reveals so much about them. So pay attention. That's what this is saying. So let's see in 21, Field of Dreams that came reversed over here, right? Okay, it says, are your dreams your own, or are they really someone else's? Have you chased money, possessions, or prestige? Have you placed security about fulfillment? Has approval seeking played a major role in your motivation to succeed? This is the time for you to assess the validity of your dreams, your talents, and your willingness to be a channel for inspiration and creativity. Don't be afraid to enter the field of dreams, for you can always clear the ground for new and better things to grow. Nature has a way of self-correcting if you're willing to act with authenticity. The power to create is inside you. So this is actually really lovely, guys, and I really think it's like food for thought. We need to figure out if we strayed away from our path or we are continuing to where we should continue. And since it is Labor Day, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in Canada, I will try to come back to my monthly readings like on Monday afternoon to at least release one or two. And I wish everybody has a wonderful weekend, even those who you don't celebrate this long weekend. But for us, it's kind of like the last long weekend of the summer. So it feels like kind of bittersweet over here. Thank you so much to everybody. It's greatly appreciated. And you guys know that I love you. And until the next time, you guys have a beautiful Labor Day and Memorial Day and all the best. Barbie, I'm going to send you my scribble over here. Hopefully it's okay. Do not worry. If anybody tells you it's wrong, I will correct them. That's for sure. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Kylie. Thank you, Barbie, Teresa. Who else is still here with me? Who else is like, hello, say hi. I want to see Zelma. Creative Guru is still here, I believe. You didn't guys left already? Maybe you did. Why not? Weekend is starting. So, all the best, guys. Let me leave a little bit of a music. Please don't forget to like and check it during the week and see if there are any changes. Okay, guys? Until the next time, all the best. Bye-bye. a wonderful weekend. Love you.